14th November 2022. Morning Murli. Shanti. BapDada. Madhuban. Sweet children, follow Srimad, become pure and clean, imbibe this knowledge, and then do yuktik service. Don't become arrogant, but maintain your pure pride. Question: due to which one aspect does the Father have to give you such a great knowledge? Answer: the Father gives you such great knowledge in order to prove that the creator of the Gita is the incorporeal Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. The biggest mistake they have made is that they have put Sri Krishna's name in the Gita instead of the Father's, the purifier. You have to prove this. You have to create various methods for this. Show the difference between the praise of the Father and that of Sri Krishna. Song: to live in your lane and to die in your lane. Shanti. You children heard the song. It says, I have come to your door to die alive. Whose door have you come to? The same things come up. If Sri Krishna were the God of the Gita, as they say, thus things couldn't take place. He is the Prince of the Golden Age. Krishna didn't speak the Gita. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, spoke the Gita. Everything depends on this. If they understood this one thing, all the religious scriptures of Bharat would then be proved to be false. All of those things are of the path of devotion. There are stories of physical rituals, going on pilgrimages, chanting, and tapasya, etc., written in them. You have been making so much effort on the path of devotion. There is no need for any of that. This is a matter of just a second. The Father has to give you so much knowledge just to prove this one thing. This is the same ancient knowledge that God alone gave. Everything depends on the Gita. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, came himself and taught easy Raj Yoga and knowledge for the establishment of the deity religion. That has now disappeared. People think that Krishna will come once again and speak the Gita. However, you now have to prove very clearly that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who is the ocean of knowledge, spoke this Gita. The praise of Krishna is separate from the praise of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. He is the Prince of the Golden Age, and he gained his fortune of the kingdom by studying easy Raj Yoga. His name and form when he is studying are different from when he attains his fortune of the kingdom. You have to prove that he was at first impure and that he then became pure. Krishna can never be called the purifier. The purifier is only the one Father. The same Sri Krishna soul that has become ugly is now once again studying Raj Yoga from the purifier and will become the prince of the future pure world. You need methods to explain and prove this. You have to prove this to foreigners. The Gita is the number one jewel of all scriptures, the mother of all scriptures. Who gave birth to the mother? The Father himself adopts the mother. It would not be said that Christ adopted the Bible. People made the Bible out of the teachings that Christ gave and they continue to study it. However, who gave the teachings of the Gita, which people made into a book and continue to study it? No one knows. They know about all the other scriptures. You have to prove who it was who gave the teachings of this easy Raj Yoga. The world continues to become Tamapradhan day by day. All of these thoughts can only remain in a pure and clean intellect. Those who don't follow Srimad are unable to imbibe knowledge. Srimad says you cannot explain anything at all. Baba instantly tells you the main thing to prove is that the God of the Gita is the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. He alone is the purifier. People say that He is omnipresent, or they say that He is the Brahma element. Without understanding anything, they continue to say whatever enters their minds. The whole mystic has been made in the Gita by them, calling Krishna the creator of the Gita. So, you have to create methods to explain this. Baba used to tell Guptaji, explain and prove to people in Benares that the God of the Gita is not Sri Krishna. Conferences now take place in Delhi. They are inviting all religious people to discuss what they can do for there to be peace. However, it is not in their hands to establish peace. They say, "Oh, purifier, come." Therefore, since they continue to call out, how can impure ones establish peace? They don't know the purifier. They say that he is Ram, the king of the warrior clan. But Ram isn't that. They call out to him inaccurately. They don't know anything. Who would go and explain this to them? Very good children are needed. There are many who consider themselves to be very knowledgeable, but they are nothing at all. There is the example of the mouse who found a piece of turmeric and thought he was a big grocer. It is number wise. You need great tact and thus because it can be proved through this that God created the Gita. They say, whoever it is, all are God. Baba says, God speaks. I adopt that Sri Krishna, soul, who takes the full 84 births and is now in his last birth. I name him Brahma and give you the knowledge of the Gita through him. Through this easy Raj Yoga, that Brahma then becomes the first prince of the golden age. This explanation is not in the intellect of anyone else. Among your children too, your intellects don't have that pure pride accurately. You hold so many exhibitions, etc., and yet you haven't proved this. First correct this mistake and explain how the Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the mother and father of all scriptures, who was its creator. Christ gave birth to the Bible, and that is the scripture of Christianity. Acha, who is the father of the Bible? Christ. He is not called the mother and father. There is no question of a mother there. It is here that you have the mother and father. Christians have competed with the Krishna religion. Those people believe in Christ, who spoke the Gita, which religion was established through it. No one knows these things. They would never say that the purifier, the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, created the sacrificial fire. You can understand from the picture of the cycle that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, truly did give this knowledge. Radhe and Krishna live in the golden age. They didn't give themselves knowledge. There has to be someone else who can give knowledge. Someone must have helped them pass. who gave the knowledge for the attainment of a kingdom. Fortune is not made by itself. It is a father or a teacher who makes your fortune. A guru gives salvation, but no one understands the meaning of liberation or salvation. There is the salvation for those on the family path. Liberation means everyone comes to the Father. No one understands those things. They have opened great big shops of devotion. There isn't a single shop of real knowledge. All of them are shops of devotion. The Father says all the Vedas and scriptures, etc., are the paraphernalia of devotion. You cannot attain me by chanting, doing tapasya, etc. I give you children knowledge and I purify you. I grant salvation to the whole world. You have to go via liberation into salvation. Not everyone will go to the golden age. Thus drama is predestined. Whatever you were taught in the previous cycle and whatever pictures ever made, they are being made now too. Once this big mistake is corrected, you can factfully make those pictures. They say that the world is standing on the legs of three religions. The leg of the deity religion is broken, and this is why the world continues to shake. At first, the world remained first class, standing on just one leg. There was just the one religion, which was called the undivided kingdom. That one leg was then lost, and three other legs emerged. They have no strength at all. Fighting and quarreling continue amongst them. They don't know the master at all and have become orphans. You need great tact to explain to others. The main thing to explain at the exhibition is that the God of the Gita is not Shri Krishna but the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, whose birthplace is in Bharat. Krishna is corporeal, whereas he is incorporeal. His praise is separate. Make a cartoons with such a cleverness that you can prove that the Supreme Soul spoke the Gita and made Krishna become what he was. It is said that the day of Brahma is knowledge and that the night of Brahma is devotion. It is now the night. Who establishes the golden age? Where did Brahma come from? Where did he come from? Even in the subtle region. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, adopts Prajapita Brahma. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, first of all creates the subtle world. They have shown Brahma there. There is no father of people there. Where did Prajapita Brahma come from? No one can understand those things. In the last birth of Krishna, the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, made him his child. This is not in anyone's intellect. This is a very important class. A teacher knows what a student is like. So would his father not know? This is an unlimited class of the unlimited Father. Everything here is unique. In the scriptures, they have shown annihilation and confused everything. You know that Krishna did not speak the Gita. He just listened to the knowledge of the Gita and attained the royal status. You have to prove that the God of the Gita is incorporeal Shiv and that these are his virtues. Bharat became like a shell because of this mistake. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul has now placed the arm of knowledge on the mothers. It is the mothers who open the gates to the heaven. Note down all of those things and explain them to others. Devotion is in fact of for householders. This is easy Raj Yoga for family path. We have come here to prove this to you. Your children have to do everything very tactfully. Your children have to show and reveal the Father. Always stay cheerful, unshakable, stable, and intoxicated. As you progress further, such children will definitely emerge. A Brahma Kumar or Kumari is one who enable others to receive the inheritance for 21 births from the Father. There is great praise of the Kumaris. Mama is the main one. That one is the son of knowledge, and this one means Brahma is the incognito Mama. Hardly anyone understands this secret. Temples have been created to that Mama too. There is no temple to this incognito old Mama. We are the mother and father in a combined form. Krishna is the prince of the golden age. The praise of the God of the Gita is separate. He is the purifier, the liberator, and the guide. Therefore, the praise of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is completely separate. How could they be the same? The main thing is who spoke the Gita. The Vedas and scriptures, etc., are all children of the Gita. All the rest is the paraphernalia of devotion. Nothing like that happens on the path of knowledge. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, BapDada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says Namaste and good morning to the spiritual father. Essence for the dharana. First point, perform every task very tactfully. Show means reveal the Father by remaining cheerful, unshakable, and stable in the intoxication of knowledge. Second point, prove the new and unique things of knowledge. Blessing. May you be a yogi soul and makes the impossible possible with the power of silence. Explanation. The power of silence is the most elevated power. All the other powers have emerged from this one power. Even the power of science has emerged from this power of silence. With the power of silence, you can make the impossible possible. What the world sees is impossible is easily possible for you, yogi souls. They see that God is very elevated and brighter than thousands of suns. But from your experience, you see, we have attained Him and have become merged in the ocean of love with our power of silence. Slogan. Those who become instruments and carry out the task of renewal are true servers. Om Shanti. Invaluable virgins of Mateshwari. The contrast between souls and the Supreme Soul. Souls and the Supreme Soul remained separated for a long time, and a beautiful meeting took place when souls found the agent. When we say these words, the accurate meaning of them is that souls became separated from the Supreme Soul for a long period of time. A long period means that souls became separated for a long time. These words prove that souls and the Supreme Soul are separate identities. They have an eternal difference, but because worldly people do not recognize this, they say that the meaning of these words is I, the soul, and the Supreme Soul. However, due to the well of Maya, they have forgotten their original form. Then, when the well Maya comes off, then souls are like the Supreme Soul. Some people say that a soul is separate in this way, and other people say that a soul is separate with the meaning of I, the soul, am the Supreme Soul. However, because souls have forgotten themselves, they have become unhappy. Only when souls recognize themselves and become pure will those souls attain the Supreme Soul. They say that souls are separate in this way. But we know that both souls and the Supreme Soul have separate identities. Neither can a soul be the Supreme Soul, nor can a soul merge into the Supreme Soul and become one. There can be no will on God. Only by breaking the karmic bondages can there be peace of mind. That is, can you attain the stage of liberation in life. In fact, each human being definitely has a desire to attain peace of mind, and this is why they have been trying so many things, but they have not as yet been able to attain peace of mind. What is the real reason for this? First, it is necessary to think what the main root of peacelessness in the mind is. The main reason for peacelessness in the mind is that you are trapped by some karmic bondage. Until human beings become free from the karmic bondages of the five vices, they cannot become free from peacelessness. When karmic bondages break, you can then have peace of mind. That is, you can achieve your stage of liberation in life. You now have to think about how to break those karmic bondages. Who is it that can free you from those? We know that no human soul can give this freedom to another human soul. It is only the one Supreme Soul who can settle the accounts of karmic bondages. He himself comes and liberates us from karmic bondage with the power of knowledge and yoga. This is why God, the Supreme Soul, is called the bestower of happiness. Unless you first know that you are a soul, whose child you truly are, and what your original virtues are, only when this enters your intellect can you break your karmic bondages. We only receive this knowledge from God, which means that it is only through the Supreme Soul that our karmic bondages are going to break. Om Shanti